Hi, I'm Julie. I'm here today to talk to you for about 15 minutes on one of my favorite topics to speak about, composting and growing cycle. There are two landfills just on the outskirts of the city of Geneva. Seneca Meadows, which is the largest landfill in New York State, is about 8 miles to the east. The Ontario County landfill, managed by Casella, is only about 4 miles to the other side of our city limit. That means, as you are driving in from the west, the first thing you are greeted with along the corridor is the sight of garbage trucks. Sure, you may not think twice about the scenery at first, but on any given day, if the wind is just right, you can't mistake the terrible stench of rotting garbage. On average, each person disposes of 4 pounds of garbage and 2 pounds of recycled material per day. Of that 4 pounds of garbage, 40% of that is organic food waste. When organic waste is thrown into landfills and decomposes, it releases methane. Methane is a greenhouse gas that contributes to global warming, and its effects on the atmosphere are 21 times greater than carbon dioxide over a 100-year period. It is also what helps to contribute to the notorious landfill stench. In 2018, Blueprint Geneva created a program called Growing Cycle. The goal of Growing Cycle was to be able to educate residents on composting so that we could divert our organic food waste from our trash. This reduces our dependence on the landfill and also reduces the methane and noxious odors that both residents and visitors have been exposed to. Right now, there are over 120 active participants in the Growing Cycle program. It starts with one of these, a Growing Cycle bucket. This is a 3-gallon bucket that you can easily store in your kitchen to collect food waste. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, you may see these out on street curbs or on porches ready for pickup. It starts with you and your family, tossing any organic biodegradable material, including paper and food scraps, into the bucket each day. On your scheduled pickup day each week, just set your bucket outside and the Growing Cycle drivers will pick up your compost and leave the bucket, ready to be filled again over the next week. Once the organic material is collected, it is then taken to a local vermicomposting facility. The organic matter is then allowed to go through its natural process of decomposition. The process is aided by these guys, red wiggler worms that feed on the decaying material and leave behind a rich nutrient compost along with their beneficial castings. Once this process is complete, it can then be mixed with soil. It is extremely beneficial for plants, providing them with nutrients in a natural way, lessening our dependence on synthetic fertilizers that can be detrimental to our environment. From there, the process starts all over again, completing the growing cycle. We are able to purchase nutritious food grown with naturally rich soil, ready to be eaten, and then the waste eventually heading back into the compost once again. Between recycling and compost, our family of 3 now only throws away maybe a bag of garbage a week, mostly consisting of non-recyclable plastic that comes from prepackaged foods. So what can you compost? I'm glad you asked. Anything you eat, you can put into the compost bucket. So after dinner each night, instead of scraping your food into your garbage bin, put it into your compost bucket. This includes any kind of bread, dairy, meats, oils, fruit and veggie scraps. You can also throw in shredded up paper and shredded up cardboard. Anything that can decompose out in nature can go into a growing cycle bucket. A lot of times people ask about things like chicken bones. Yep, those can biodegrade, so those can go into compost too. But here's a list of things that you don't want to put into your compost bucket. The key thing to remember is that your compost bucket is for biodegradable materials only. You don't want to toss plastics, metal, tape or adhesive, or waxy cartons for juice or milk. If you are wondering if paper is compostable, most is. Just make sure it isn't glossy or coated in plastic. Seems pretty simple, right? Well, if it was this simple, you should be asking yourself, why isn't everybody doing this? Well, part of it is is that a lot of people don't know that programs like this exist. For a long time, we've been a city that's just thrown everything into the trash and tossed it into the landfill. The second part of it is that change is hard. When you're used to just throwing away your food waste into the garbage each week, leaving it out on the curb for the, trash man to come pick up, you never really think about it again until you're driving into Geneva and you smell the landfill. Then you say, man, I wish somebody would do something about this. Or when you see news reports about global warming and the effects on climate change, it really comes down to what we can do about it. It's not if somebody could do this, it's what can I do about this? And it really starts with you and your individual household. Some people are worried about the cost. Well, a program like this is about $20 per month. But really, if you think about it, it's a good deal because you're reducing the amount of trash that you're putting out each week. So that means your garbage bill goes down. So really, the cost kind of offsets itself. But the long-term benefits are second to none. Instead of throwing your food waste into the trash and hauling it off to the landfill where it'll produce methane and really stink, isn't it like more common sense to be able to put it into a compost bucket, have it taken to a vermicompost farm, turned into a rich, nutrient-dense compost that'll be mixed with soil to grow food without the use of synthetic fertilizers? I mean, really, it's common sense. So it really comes down to you, the next generation, who helps to educate people on the benefits of composting, to help educate your family on why they should participate in a program like this. Whether you compost at home in your own compost bin, or you call for a weekly pickup service to come get your food scraps. Really, this is the way that the new generation should be thinking, because we need to do something different. Sooner or later, the landfill's going to shut down, and we're going to have to stop and think about a new way to handle waste. This is a really good first step. If you want more information, go to growingcycle.org. Thank you very much.